people don't have any idea even what is the clear state, what is that kind of like a pure state, because like the natural reaction that people now have is, if you have an issue, it's never to leave it alone. I mean, of course you have to kind of address it, but I mean that the answer is to take something more from the outside. And even with the supplements, like at least half of that benefits that you experience is because you read about the benefits. You like, that's what I used to like go, like I read it from the internet, then I got excited about this stuff, and then I take it into my body. But it's all, it's just written. It's like based on my imagination, most of that.
Like what you think your body needs is based on studies, marketing, and some external, information online. It's not based on what your body actually wants or desires or needs. Like it's based on, these external random things. You somehow just read online, watch some video, and then you make some conclusions in your mind. Like your body is like out of the fun, like the equation altogether. Like I remember, back in the day, like I used to have this drawer. I was open it. It was like, I don't know, like 50 different supplements. And then, then every morning I was, just
Hello everybody, I'm here with Samuli, our co-founder. So the past 2 weeks, I've actually been sick with this very famous disease that's been going around the world at the moment and making everyone a little bit crazy.
The virus or the disease we cannot talk about, because apparently if you talk about it, the YouTube algorithm, starts censoring us, so we need to use like different terminology.
Yeah,
everyone knows what we talk. Yeah, everyone knows what we're talking about.
Yep. But anyway, like I was very surprised about this, actually, like how hard it hit me, because I figured I had pretty good immune system. So I was about like 11 days, just like with quite high fever, and essentially just like laying in bed, like that way. But like now I'm feeling quite good, quite normal. I'd say like 95% normal. But I think there was something that is maybe that we can learn actually from this disease anyway, and about the recovery process that I even went through. But yeah, like I said, I was really surprised. Samuli had just like essentially flew to the US. So I was here essentially going through this disease in Dubai. And I really can't say why it hit me, because every time I think about this disease, I always thought that it will be like almost nothing. And for many people, it is like that. So
yeah, because because I didn't get anything. Eero's girlfriend, who was with Eero like almost all the time, she was like maybe a little bit sick for 1 day or 2 days or something like that.
Exactly.
And her friend also got like fever for 1 day as well. So like a lot of people, like we didn't get anything.
Yeah. Basically. So I kind of like realized why it went so quickly for many people. Because I know that for some people, like if you read from the news, it's the same thing. Like for some people, it's maybe no symptoms at all. Like there's nothing at all. And then some people, you need to get some horrible like treatments and and all of that stuff, which I'm very happy I didn't have to get any kind of serious treatment. So, but I know that I had like from the restaurant, for example, I had the stomach issue, like some diarrhea already from the restaurant. So maybe that was something that like had lowered the immune system. I had no idea. But thinking about it, like even though it was quite hard, I think like I recover like relatively quickly from it. And I think the worst thing that people can do when they get this sickness is just like get crazy and get panicked, because I've always been, usually I'm not sick, like ever. I never have like this kind of issues with the body. So even with this one, I waited for a week. I didn't take any medicine, nothing. Try to avoid all this kind of stuff, because I always like can count on this kind of natural healing of the body. And I do my breathing. I've done my qigong and and live a healthy lifestyle. So this is what I usually can count on. So I was surprised that it just still kept on as it was. But the important thing, like I said, was that if I think many people, when they get now disease, it's like forbidden to get disease, because if you get that, it's like something horrible immediately. People get scared, and I think they react just too quickly and crazy and try to take every medicine they can immediately, and there's no relying on the natural immunity of the body or the natural ability to heal, not even trying.
Yeah. Yes, I think like the fear and the panic that is and the stress that is coming from the media is like making everything maybe not twice as bad, but maybe 25% worse than it should be, because it's just, like stress is really bad for the body, and it causes, the actions you talk about, like you get a little bit sick and you start to panic and you start take this and take this, and even like the natural methods, if you use them too much, they become bad. Like if you start to feel sick and you start taking like every herb imaginable, like turmeric and ginger, and do it in high quantities, it's going to make it worse. So you have to like let it be still, and then a little bit work with the stillness if you really want to like work on the condition.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because I took immediately like some vitamins like zinc, C vitamin, and I had the turmeric, and I think it didn't really help in the beginning, because if you get it, like it's there, and it has to run through its whatever natural course that it takes, like the disease and all that. It has like a certain time that it just has to run, and I think right now the how this disease and everything is portrayed in the media, it causes just people to do decisions based on not really what's the real feeling in the body and what's the real situation in the body, but based on just the idea that, or like this folded, the ideas that they have of their condition.
Yeah, because if you follow the media and believe everything they say, you get like a really like false like idea that almost everyone can die and everyone will die almost from the disease. So when in reality, it's like if you are like under 50 years old and healthy, it's like almost impossible to die. Like literally, it's like 90.9.98, like everyone percentage survives. So like if you look at the data objectively, it's like it's not really like life-threatening for like almost no one. But if you listen to media and if you listen to like the one really individual cases where this one person like got really bad reaction and maybe even died, then all of these like images and all these ideas like run into your head when you're sick, and it's going to make everything worse. So that's why it's better to avoid like all these negative scenarios and images from media altogether.
Yeah, I think like one thing that has saved me with this is that I just don't really read the news, like, and try to avoid them as much as possible, and that way I can actually like you just have a much more clearer idea of like you can actually interpret correctly what is really going on in your body, instead of constantly comparing that to what's going on in the media, which might completely mess up with the head. So I think this is why it's very good to keep it minimum, and at least try, or if you try to and want to read the news, try to find some stories that really show an objective view of something that's going on, which is incredibly hard. So
yeah, I think there's no objective view like right now. Like the only objective view is going to like the different like official websites and looking at the data yourself, like seeing like the exact numbers and seeing like what are the conclusions, and then you see like exactly what's happening and what's not. But yeah, I think that's a very important part. But also like what role the modern medicine and the natural medicine plays in this is also like very good to understand.
Yeah, and but I think like the funniest thing is also like that here, at least in UEA, for example, they're very clear. They recommend like high doses of C vitamin. It's like, and I think that's not something that's very even commonly written everywhere. That has been one of the most successful treatments for this is just like C vitamin, which is like it's so common. Like you can get it everywhere, and you could easily take big doses of it. For example, which I don't know if it's considered like natural medicine, but I think it's at least much more natural medicine compared to like actual drugs that you can be given. But essentially, it just tells that these natural minerals, vitamins that are there are very powerful, actually, medicine or natural medicine for many multiple kind of diseases. And even like compared to like these very highly developed chemicals and whatever people are given, and they can be even much more actually useful.
Yeah, what I believe is that the vitamins certainly can play a major part, but so can like herbs. Like I recently traveled to USA, like Florida, and I could see like this CBD oil like everywhere, and people were like like everyone was like advertising it and talking about it like it's like a miracle cure for like lots of different issues. And I was just thinking, because I don't like have nothing to do with weed or cannabis or CBD, I never have, but but I was just thinking like this is just herbal medicine, like Chinese medicine. If you take like CBD oil, it's just natural like herbal medicine. And only now in the Western world, like they start to notice that okay, this such natural herb can have like really drastic like healing properties and cure like many different ailments and so on. But what they don't know is that there are like thousands of different herbs, very similar to like CBD, which can like produce almost similar results. They just have to find them and know how to use them and so on. But I also I also lived 1 year in China and a few months in Vietnam and many months in Malaysia. I've been to Taiwan for several months, like in total. And in that part of the world, like everyone is still using Chinese medicine. Like it's actually, I think it's more popular than the Western modern medicine for many issues. Like even back then when I was a student and studying in China and training some martial arts there and training and so on, like I remember I had like this headache and stuff. I went to pharmacy and only thing I got was like some like herbal medicine. Like I didn't get any ibuprofen or anything. And I used the herbal medicine and after like 2 hours the headache was gone. So I think that's one aspect that is missing from the West. Like people just are not allowed to see the potential in the herbal medicine, like the natural medicine, and they don't also know anything about it.
So I know this just because here I wanted to like maybe get some sort of like a herb more. So I can like maybe do some research and try to find some herbal tea, for example, which was supposed to be antiviral. But it's really hard to like, because if you here you have like, if you have, for example, Chinese medicine therapists here, it's mostly acupuncture. It's like some kind of massage, some kind of this kind of, which of course that can be good as well. But you won't find like those actual like proper Chinese herbal doctors or anything like that. And I think it's like it's annoying because even if you try to, it's really almost nearly impossible in the Western culture. So and or find someone who's actually an expert in the herbs who could like give advice on how to use them and so on and so on. Like because there are really are like a huge amount of those. Like you said, it's not just the CPD, which is now like that.
Yes,
like everybody
and
is promoting CBD, but
like I've tried like not like countless of different herbs, but many different herbal supplements and so on. And like I can tell you that they work. Like if you want to boost your sex drive or something, you just take some herbal medicine, and I can tell you it will like for 24 hours it will be like up here. Like you don't need like Viagra or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same with for many other, like if you want to like get rid of the like fluids from your body, like water retention, then you just drink this tea and you can definitely notice a difference. So it's like,
Mm.
it's very weird because in the Western world, like there are also like news talking about like teas do not have, do not really have scientific proof. Like I don't know what they're even talking about. And likewise, they talk about like herbs don't work. And like I'm like, what? Like I think they have lots of scientific evidence if you just look for the right evidence, but I don't know. It's very weird. But by the way, we are not against Western medicine at all. We just understand that like both sides have really potential and really good effects. Like if we are on the brink of death or really sick, of course we are going to take like Western medicine if it's available. Like if we have a bad
Mm.
infection, I really hope like people take antibiotics because it's just going to work the best probably. But for especially like little like ailments and little problems like the herbal medicine and the natural medicine, it's more clean. It's it's not going to cause any side effects or maybe some, but it's not going to cause like really bad damage to your body. What
Mm.
the Western medicine can do, because the Western medicine it's very effective and it's also very strong. Like you fix one problem but you get a new one usually, especially if you keep using the drug. So in that regard, like the Western medicine is really good, but it's how I see is that I use it like a last resort. If like I've tried everything else, then I use that. But otherwise, I stick to natural methods and the natural medicine and the herbal medicine because I get like maybe like 75% of the same results without any of the negative side effects or consequences. So that's why I think it's much better alternative.
Yeah, and I like because like now, like I haven't been sick, so it means that I haven't taken any sort of medication in like for in ages. So it's that sense, like for me, for example, now when I took antibiotics because they ordered me for this disease, it's like I was very like hesitant to even take them for this. But then again, thinking about it, okay, I'm taking this now like once in 10 years, some antibiotics. So like it's fine. Like to take this kind of Western medicine, I don't think it's so like it's okay when it's taken like that. You have your specific issue, you take it for it, and then you can maybe move on. It fixes the or kills the bacteria or whatever. But the problem is that nowadays people like take it all the time, like they take it immediately, like you don't even wait until you really need to like take it. Well, of course preventative is smart, but I think it's the problem is not like the Western medicine is how it's used. It is often abused, I think, in whereas you could take for these minor problems, you could just be very well with taking some herbals and probably get rid of it by that, and just doing like herbs, fasting, maybe some vitamins or something like that, breathing, and those are like the major way you can get rid of most of this stuff. And if it really gets bad, then you can take some kind of more efficient medicine that is really direct and strict, but there's always that kind of side effects like Samuli said. So even I'm like, okay, I took antibiotics, so it means I know very well that my gut flora has been too partially like damaged because of it. So now I need to deal with that also, maybe take some probiotics and so on. But there's going to be that sort of negative effects usually every single time if it's not a natural or herbal medicine. Or even with those, you get some, of course, symptoms, but I don't think usually they are so bad.
Yeah, like how I see is that almost everything should be used specifically for like different, like how do I say, like problems. Because currently what everyone is doing is that they're using like they're pretty much addicted to like different substances and different like drugs and different also like teas and so on. Like I don't think anything should be used every day all the time, not even vitamins, because you pretty much destroy the effectiveness of the substance if you keep using it every day. And what I see all the time on like social media and what other people do is that every day they take like a stack of different, supplements. Then they like do this teas and kombucha and everything, they do it like I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like you're like, because sometimes like you and these people do it every day. Like you're like constantly like stuffing stuff in your body, like food and supplements and these herbs and which are quite strong by the way, but they become like ineffective because you use them all the time. But also you just keep stuffing your body with random stuff and thinking you are like advocating health, but you actually like how you heal the body is how you is the same way you heal the mind. You have to leave it alone sometimes. Like that's where the fasting comes in, but also in like in overall general life, you just for the most part you are the healthiest and strongest when you leave the body alone, when you don't mess with your biochemistry constantly, like with all these different whatever like enhancements and performance boosting drugs and whatever. Like just leave the body alone and you will have health. Just leave the mind alone and you will have mental health. Like that's how it works. Because what I discovered a long time ago was that most problems I experienced in the body came from outside, from like from supplements and food, and maybe I ate something wrong, maybe I ate too much, maybe I ate, I ate the wrong thing on the wrong time when I shouldn't have, and so on. Like all these problems came from the outside, and the same way with my mind, all these problems I was experiencing came from the outside, like from the news, from social media, or from like stimulants like caffeine or alcohol. Like when I got rid of all of this stuff, like when I stopped consuming all this negative, which I thought was positive, but it's actually not positive if you use it all the time. When I got rid of all of this stuff, suddenly, I just, everything, calmed down. Like, and I started to experience like real mental health and real physical health as well. Because I wasn't, stuffing my body with random stuff I was thinking was healthy because, you know.
Yeah, that's the problem that comes with the, also with the natural thing that people are like literally like drinking or taking everything in huge quantities and amounts, that if it just has this natural label, like that sort of kombucha stuff or whatever they're brewing, it's
or
like
green tea,
green
or
tea.
green tea, because I read like lots of studies back in the day. I read all the studies. Green tea increases growth hormone and reduces inflammation and it's good for your health and blah 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 blah. I read like 10 studies and then I was like, whoa, that is very good. So then I was drinking, green tea like 5 cups a day, for 1 year or something like that when I was in my early 20s. And now in retrospect, it's like that's horrible thing to do. Like that's one of the worst things you can do for your health. Like you're stuffing your body with so much caffeine and so much, whatever, that it cannot be good for your health.
No, and in the early 20s, like
Yeah.
I was also just, and we were actually both just like experimenting with all the possible supplements that are like out there. Like for that time, I actually thought like they have some really important there. I was crazy, like every single day to take multiple different kind of these supplements, which you don't really know like even properly what is the effect in the body, but it's just that they've been marketed, and during that time there was the fitness boom with the protein supplement. It's still on, like still people are crazy about the protein, like that's the secret to something. Like it's has nothing to do with that, like taking these capsules, multiple capsules every day. It's like it's not really healthy. And like that's also a reason why for multiple years actually I haven't even used vitamins. I think maybe I should even use like sometimes a little bit more than I'm using now, because just using so little of anything, like even regards to tea, yes, sometimes herbal teas, but like no vitamins almost at all, no minerals, nothing. And because I feel like, and it hasn't made any negative influence, it's complete opposite. It didn't, like, for me, taking so many vitamins and pills and minerals and all of that stuff back in the day, it didn't make a net positive impact. There was really almost none. So, and it was just,
Yeah,
it's
I
all, yeah,
remember.
it's also trying to like compensate a lot of other things in your health. Like, one of the biggest issue that was causing problems or health problems for me was overeating. It was just, and I didn't get fat, but I did get like inflammation in my body. My gut was not using well, was not functioning well because I was overeating. And then you think for that you need to take the supplements, when the reason is something completely different than you not having this vitamin. The reason was just not, or eating too much constantly.
Yeah, because that's the thing, there's like a balance. There needs to be balance and harmony with, everything. Like you cannot, just think, because one thing is like a good thing, you just, stack it up like until the levels are maximum. Like everything should work in harmony, and naturally the body is in harmony if you just leave it alone and give it what it needs and not what you think it needs, because like what you think your body needs is based on studies, marketing, and some external information online. It's not based on what your body actually wants or desires or needs. Like it's based on these external random things you somehow just read online, watch some video, and then you make some conclusions in your mind. Like your body is like out of the like the equation altogether. And then when you make this decision in your mind, then you take all these supplements. Like I remember, back in the day, like I used to have this drawer, I was open it. It was like, I don't know, like 50 different supplements. Like, and then,
Yeah.
then every morning I was, just and then I would go to this, drink some tea. I would drink, 3 cups of green tea like this, and I was like, this is good for my health.
Yeah.
But actually, it wasn't like I was bloated all the time. I was having like, I wasn't fat, but I was having like, I was skinny fat in some ways, and I had like inflammation like constantly. What I didn't even like understand back then, because like most people, they don't even like understand what's going on because they don't have the contrast to what is health. They're in constantly like in unhealthy state, so they don't even know like what is good and what is bad because they have never experienced what is good. Because in like Zen Buddhism, they have the saying like, if you want to, something like about the mind, if you want to heal the mind, leave it alone. If you want to like calm the mind, just stop stirring the water. Like this, because when you like constantly you stir the water or throw something in the water, it's like constantly in turmoil. But if you just leave it alone, then you will have this like perfect still water which reflects the reality perfectly. And that's exactly the same lesson when it comes to the human body and the human mind as well. Because I understood this lesson myself, because I've been doing fasting for many years. Like I've been doing long fast, water fast, dry fast, like fast with no water, and Eero has done as well. And I understood this because sometimes I would eat stuff, I would drink some tea, and after that I would be like really stressed, really anxious, maybe even depressed, like some slight depression and so on. And also, just feeling bad. But then every time I did fasting, I would like feel as I would feel light, I would feel calm, and I would feel amazing. Like I would feel almost euphoric. And I was like what's going on here? Because when I don't eat anything, when I don't like stimulate my body with social media or news or anything, or when I don't take these supplements, I feel like the best I've ever felt. And when I look in the mirror, my skin and hair looks better than ever before, and so on. Like I was like, what is going on here? And then I realized that that stuff in the body with these random things which you think are not random but they're actually random is not good for your health. And actually often the more you leave the body alone, the more you leave the mind alone, the better you will feel, I think.
Yeah, I think that was really well said in the sense that people don't have any idea even what is the clear state, what is that kind of like a pure state, because like the natural reaction that people now have is if you have an issue, it's never to leave it alone. I mean, of course, you have to kind of address it, but I mean that the answer is to take something more from the outside. And even with the supplements, like at least half of that benefits that you experience is because you read about the benefits. You like, that's what I used to like go, like I read it from the internet, then I got excited about this stuff, and then I take it into my body. But it's all, it's just written. It's like based on my imagination, most of that. And I had no idea about like fasting. I didn't even understand that just like reducing, not taking more in, but taking less in was usually the answer. Like that was usually the best solution to any kind of problem, to skin issues, the inflammation in the gut or something. The answer was to have less of everything in, not just stuff more in, which is more often than not, like at the moment, the answer that people are trying to get to, they're just trying to get some additional stuff where they're supposed to get rid of excess and cleans the body this way. Not even cleans it through some kind of detox tip, but just cleans it through for example, fasting, and use that as a way to find that sort of clear, more clear state of the body and of the mind as well.
Yeah, yes. So what I see people doing is that they're just stacking different problems like one after another, and also because they get new problems all the time, they also need like new answers and new solutions. Because when you use, let's say you use this green tea, whatever, and supplements all the time, it's going to cause you. It's very likely going to cause like some problems in your body. Maybe digestion, like caffeine, very easily causes problems in the digestion, or maybe your cortisol levels are high because you're digesting so much like caffeine. Maybe not so much with green tea, but maybe with coffee. So and when your cortisol levels go up, you immediately start to experience maybe stress, because cortisol is the stress hormone. So that's where the stress comes from. But also cortisol has almost like a direct impact on you, like the inflammation and your skin as well. So you start to experience acne. So what do you do? You start taking acne medication, like Accutane or something like that. I remember I used to take that very, 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 very long time ago, and it's very bad for your liver. So you start with the caffeine, which raises your cortisol, and with cortisol you start to experience stress and skin problems, and you get acne. And with acne, you start to take the really strong medication, and with the medication you start to get digestive problems and also liver problems. So you after you do that for a few years, you also need to take this another medicine for this another problem. And this, just one example. It happens like with so many different things, but that's only one example I can think of from here. But I could think like many different similar scenarios if I just take time.
Yeah, this is as an example of like just stirring the pot. Like you just keep stirring, keep adding. And that's the thing. Like you take medicine as a solution to something, and then that medicine causes issues, and they need to take another medicine to fix those issues. And it's a lot just like an endless, endless cycle that comes from it. But it's not just for the medicine. It's like I said, even for the supplements, people
and herbs as well.
Herbs,
natural natural medicine as well. Like you cannot use it like what people fail to understand is like the things are only good in their perfect dosage, in the perfect scenario. They are not absolutely good for your health. Like even if I eat lettuce every day for 2 kilos, I'm probably going to die. And maybe not that. but probably my digestion, like something is going to happen in my digestion, and like some thing is going to explode or whatever. But like the same way with if you take this supplement, which you think is good, or it is shown to be good in like small amounts or in this certain amount. If you take it for like 10 times the amount, it's going to become bad, and it's the same with everything.
Yeah, and especially now because it all accumulates in the body, and like I'm not sure, but at least it seems that there's a lot more chemicals and all kinds of like heavy metals even in the food. So this is why also like even like vegetables or something, if you really stuff yourself, then you easily some level of some harmful substance will go up too much. So that's just like understanding that there's not like if you figure out that one good thing, like don't like over consume it, and don't destroy that good benefit that comes from this substance, because there's a good effect that you can get from it, and then you can also destroy that effect completely by thinking that now because it's good then you can take it every day or something, and you're not supposed to take this stuff every day. It's like your body does not need that. Why are you in a constant detox? Like why do you need to detox like all the time? That's not a very good sign of the body. You don't need to always be taking this kind of something detox or whatever, eat kale every single day, because a healthy body does not require this kind of kale dosages every day to survive. So I think the normal, like that's why it's still like there's so much wisdom in even years ago when I made like that diet video into your YouTube, when I'm talking about my eating, like I was still eating sometimes, I think in some maybe too restrictive ways, but still the basics of my eating was very normal. It was really normal, just like normal food, some meat, some carbs, some veggies, and so on. Like that's the basic stuff that you can kind of, or basis of my health. It's not the supplement, it's not some kind of miracle herb that I'm taking. It's really in the lifestyle of eating pretty much normal foods and eating good amounts of them as well.
Yeah,
like that's how I see.
Yeah, and what kind of scares me is that people don't even know what they're taking and what they're doing. Like they think they know, but they only know like very small aspect of the truth. Like they know only maybe few studies, and then they few articles, and then they make the conclusion. Like how many people like listening to this like in this podcast right now even knows that caffeine, the caffeine, the active stimulant that is in many teas and coffee, is actually a psychoactive drug. It's medically labeled as a psychoactive drug. Like how many people know this? Like almost nobody. They just think, caffeine, it's good, energy, like I'm not saying it's bad, but it's probably like it's a psychoactive drug. Like what do you think it's going to do to your mind?
Yeah.
Like I'm only asking questions, I'm not saying anything,
Yeah.
Just study things a bit deeper, and go to the what the medical industry actually like has labeled these things. And there's cocaine and there's caffeine, all I'm saying. So that's it.
Very good. We are quite familiar with coffee, because if the Finnish people drink the most amount of coffee per head per person, yeah. So, and we were not any different, like huge amounts of it, like a stuff that is labeled as a drug, and just drinking like a liter a day of it. So it's like, yeah, if you think about that like objectively, maybe it will start to cause some issues. But that's also another thing, because people recognize it's a drug. So then if you get some problems, of course you can't blame that. Of course it has to be something else that you can fix with a supplement. Or you can, maybe because you're anxious, you start to smoke weed or something. You always try to find another way to add to the pot, not take away from it.
Yeah, steer it more and more.
Until it's like a huge mess.
the only reason I even discovered, what is truth and what is not, because I started to experience really bad problems from caffeine. Because, when we were in like Taiwan training with the grandmaster Jiang Yushan and so on, like this guy drinks like tea, like more than like anyone, I think. Like, and even in Taiwan, like we used to drink tea like hours, like literally for hours, like non-stop, and after that trip, I just started to get like problems over, like even before that trip I was experiencing problems, but during the trip it became like more and more known to me. Like I started to feel fatigue, like anxiety, stress, and all these things after caffeine. And after that, I started to reduce it all the time, and suddenly, I started to get calmer and calmer and feeling better all the time. So like I got like really bad like adrenaline fatigue from caffeine. Like I would drink like 1 cup of green tea and almost pass out. Like it got really bad after that. So after that, I quit it altogether. I studied everything I could about caffeine, and I realized, this is not what everyone says it is, or because no one even knows what it is, because they don't actually study what they eat. So my recommendation, if you can like drink it, maybe understand what you're like drinking, and understand what you're digesting, and understand that that it very likely will cause you problems, and understand understand that the cause is very likely the one thing you're like digesting every day all the time.
Yeah, I think it's that's the lesson in that is just like really look at the stuff that you are considering as everyday normal. Everybody's doing it. It like, well, he's doing it. My friends are taking it. Like not taking or seeing like those things that you think take for granted and think are completely normal may not be always so. And if there's some problems that persist,
the normal thing is not, it's not good anymore. Like if you look at like the balls and the studies and everything, like especially in US, like people are not feeling good. Like most people are not healthy. They are not feeling good.
Yeah, like I mean, you can even start to talk about the opioid crisis and everything. It's like if this thing is working and if it's normal, then why is every single person like, or like 1/3 of everyone is taking some kind of medication right now, or some kind of antidepressant or whatever painkiller? It's not like a normal or nor is it sustainable situation. So there's nothing normal about what is going on at the moment.
Yeah, because
that's why it's
yeah, because it varies a lot from country to country. But because I recently spent like 1 month in US, like Florida and different cities like Tampa and St. Petersburg and Lakeland and Orlando and Miami, and I can tell you that I think the situation is the worst in US. Like everyone is on something. Like no one is no longer like, I don't think I can find like a natural person in US anymore, because everyone is smoking weed. Or if they're not smoking weed, they're drinking like caffeine, which is also a drug. And if they're not drinking caffeine, they're like drinking alcohol, or then they also have the opioid crisis. But even in addition to that, like US has the highest levels of antidepressants, and also the drugs they use to study and work, like amphetamines, like the Adderall and stuff. Like, and then when I went to like store, I see like vitamins added to everything. Like in Europe, if you go like to buy bread, there's no vitamin bread. I'm sorry. There's no like bread with some extra vitamin B. But in Miami, I went to this grocery store. I see like bread and cookies with added vitamins. I was like, okay, this is interesting. But everyone is like taking like stacks of vitamins. Then they are like taking these different like prescription drugs, different pills. Then they're drinking caffeine, like coffee, especially coffee. Like in US, the tea is not even that popular, but like massive amounts of coffee. Then you smell weed everywhere. Like where is like, of course you can enjoy your life and so on, but it's probably not a good idea to have like stacks of different drugs you take every single day just to cope with reality and to feel good. Like if you think about us, we're like me or Eero, we are not using anything. Like we don't have any regular drug, like not a single thing. Like we don't drink alcohol every day, we don't smoke every day, we don't do anything every day, like nothing. Like our natural state is the natural state. And then if we sometimes want to like enjoy something, a drink very once in a while, we may, but otherwise, like there's nothing we take every day for anything, because there's nothing wrong with like there's nothing wrong with my body, there's nothing wrong with my mind either. Like I'm good, like I don't need to take anything every day to feel good. Like I feel good right now. Like if I
Yeah,
take alcohol, I probably feel good like for 30 minutes and then I feel bad, but like I don't need anything. And we have
yeah,
been
it's
like this, me and Eero, we have been like this for years, and it's getting better every year because we're getting rid of the all the damage that was caused by the things we used to do. Because for the first 5 years of my 20s, I would like abuse my body in so many ways with training and with supplements and with everything imaginable. And the next 5 years, I've been, just trying to get rid of all of that stuff because it only made me weaker, unhealthier, and more dependent on stuff I didn't even need.
nowadays like when you find out like people is taking some nicotine or caffeine or weed or whatever like regularly all the time, it's weird because you yourself you're like what like if you have everything just normally functioning in your body, like why are you like taking this, or like where do you need this, like why does your happiness or your energy or something, why does it need to have every single day this kind of substance? It's actually quite crazy to think about it now, because I know like I come from, like I explained, I had coffee all the time, I had supplements like Samuli said as well, and I know I've had that feeling where like I couldn't like wait to wake up in the morning to, for example, drink coffee. And if I didn't have it, then the whole day was ruined. It's like, why would I want to have that kind of like a dependency to anything? Like it's just, if you say it like that way, it does not make any sense. So nowadays,
Yeah.
yeah, just for many years we've been living like without needing to have anything. It's quite amazing if you look at the situation of the modern society.
Yeah, and I think like our performance, even in like athletic things, are really like only getting better and better and better. And it's not any less than the other people. Like if you go to gym, we know like who's on steroids. Like it's so easy to see, And even in training, you see like if you do like MMA and stuff, like we are all natural, like in every aspect possible, and we are not losing to any of these guys on caffeine, on steroids and stuff. Like so what is the actual benefit? I don't understand, because back in the day I thought I got some benefit, but now I have better energy, I have more strength, like everything is better, like so. And I'm older now, so what, I don't even understand anymore what was the benefit. It was more like about the mind than it was the body, and it was more about the something else than it was about performance. It was, it was like an illusion of performance. Maybe it's like a performance in a very short window, but in a long time span, I don't think anything beats natural performance. But I mean, yeah, but if you're natural, if you're like really natural, I'm not talking about steroids, I'm talking about, really natural, like in the real sense, like in the natural state of the body and the natural, as a natural man, then I don't think like you can avoid most of the problems, because most problems come from the outside, not from inside.
Yeah, and I think like in that state, because you are like you have your baseline state is that sort of natural man, natural woman, then when you like need to take something for a specific purpose, and most likely you don't even have to take almost anything, but if there comes like some disease that is more serious, you need to have something, it's like it's fine, like it doesn't break the balance or the homeostasis of the body. I think like that's what these substances and drugs and everything are even meant for. Like they're meant for those exceptional situations, something really puts you down or like breaks you or something, you have something that you can take. But I don't know at which point it became the norm to have to all the time take something. Like I think that's really the the destructive path, and something we didn't even talk about. But when it comes to like what we preach about training, for example, mind-muscle connection and just body awareness, it actually quite a bit relies on this naturalness, because you can't have a clear sense of your body. You can't have a clear sense of for example, different tightness or imbalances or even weaknesses in your body, because they're constantly masked. Like caffeine is one of the worst masking agent for different pains in the body. You always take it, then you will never have to actually face what is bothering your body. So that has been one of the actually major things, getting rid of this also in developing our training methods even. And it's just because the whole effectiveness of our methods is based on very realistic body image, body awareness. That's like where it comes from. And that's why how we can help people so effectively and so well is because we actually know our own bodies. And through that, we can also help people to find out about their own bodies. And this is not possible if you're constantly on some kind of chemical, under some influence of some chemical. Like
yeah, like the Zen Buddhist quote, the mind that has been left alone reflects perfectly. And the reflection means reality. Like you can see the reality perfectly. And that's the thing, when you are on like 1 or 2 or 3 different psychoactive drugs like caffeine, then you lose touch with reality in many ways. Like you no longer cannot see everything like with the utmost perfection than you could see before. Like nowadays I'm super sensitive to everything because I don't take any medication or anything, because if I feel pain, I feel it very easily and very, very like accurately wherever it comes from, and then I can solve to fix that. Like almost every day of my life, like I feel strong, I feel energetic, I feel no pain whatsoever. But if I start to feel even like a little bit of something, I can immediately address it because I know where it comes from. But if I were to use lots of different drugs, if I were on steroids, on caffeine, on like maybe other stuff, what people use, maybe amphetamines or something like that, I would have no idea what's going on. Like I would just, lift too heavy, do like this, hurt my body in so many ways, and I wouldn't even I wouldn't even know it probably, because I remember Mike Tyson. I read his book, like the biography, where he talked about, that guy was on so many different drugs and probably steroids as well, because he beat the steroid test with some like fake dick and whatever. But you can read the book for more details. But like that guy was on so many different drugs throughout his career that only after he stopped, competing and training and using that stuff, he realized that my body is a mess. Like my knees hurt, my back hurts, like everything is broken. But when he was competing, when he was using the drugs, when he was like doing whatever, he couldn't feel anything. And at least this, what he wrote in his book, I recall, hopefully correctly, but something like that. And what you said before, about, I think your core should be very clean and very, with no no unnecessary disturbances, and like like your core should be natural. If you want every now and then use something, do something, then maybe it's okay. But right now the core is so dirty for most people. It's like you have this pot and you have stuffed like 100 different things over there, and you're stuffing every day without any relaxation, without any time off. You're just stuffing like so many different things every day, all the time, and then you're surprised you get problems, and you get surprised that you have like anxiety or depression, or you start to feel some other problems in your body because you never leave it alone.
Yeah, think about like the water is like never calm. It is think like that should like that's
yeah, it's like a
normal,
storm. It's like a storm.
Yeah, and like the normal state is that you have like this. Yeah, everything's normal, everything's calm. But for most people, there's never that, and people have they haven't experienced it probably in a decade or in tens of years, because they never tried to go for that sort of like a calm state. It's always living in a slight storm or some kind of, and just steering it.
Yeah, I think nowadays like being stressed and anxious and so on it's like an epidemic. Like everyone is all the time stressed and anxious. But if you look at your surroundings, if you look at this moment, nothing is happening. Like if you are not in a fight, there's no like a wild animal trying to eat you. Like nothing is happening. Everything is inside your head. Like the difference between like anxiety and fear is that fear is physical. It's real. Like you feel fear when you see like let's say like a wild like lion or something, and it tries to eat you, or somebody tries to fight you. Then you feel like a real physical sensation. But most people, they don't feel fear. They feel anxiety, and anxiety is not even real because it's all inside your head. Because if you look objectively, the moments right now, nothing is going on. Everything is inside your head, and the problem is not your head. The problem is where the stress is coming from. It's probably coming from your diet, from the supplements, from caffeine, from different drugs. Like if you just leave it alone, you will understand that what is reality and what is not. Like all this depression is and anxiety, these are not real.
Yeah, I think it goes pretty well actually back to like what we talk about in the beginning about just the news, the virus, like the fear, because it's there's nothing to be like afraid of and be like like anxious. It's all created. It's like every single bits of it almost is created. Like okay, when I had like the fever and everything, is of course my body is like under threat or in a way, but it's even that it's just fever. Like I've had people have had fever since they're babies. Like I had fever when I was a child. Why now the same fever that I had as a child? Why is now something that I should be like so anxious about and so scared about? There's absolutely like no reason for it. Yep, okay, I have like this fever. I gotta rest. I gotta go through it. But there's nothing to be like panic about it and take it something that it's more than it is. And I think that kind of fear is on like now. It's like it's really on, and it's not just of course the media, but it's the stuff that people are feeding themselves and the chemicals and the supplements and the herbs and everything, and all of that is just playing together into this massive anxiety that people are having over their own health. And there's no clarity because you don't try to get clarity. You try to add and steer to the pot. But I think it's time for a cleanse, like a real actual cleanse.
Yeah, right now somewhere on the countryside, there's like a middle-aged man or woman who's scared to death all the time. Like in a very like imagine like the most peaceful like green grass, like waterfalls and lake, and everything is peaceful. You don't hear almost any, only like birds chirping, like nothing is going on. But then somehow this person is, like, like almost panicking inside the house with like, because of some media stuff, when the odds of anything happening to that person is like less than maybe like lottery or something. But still, like maybe the threat is real somewhere outside of you, like the area you live in. But right now in the moment, there's absolutely nothing happening. But still, this person is afraid and stressed, which is causing lots of physical problems as well, because mental problems become physical problems eventually. So
yeah, that was actually a good point. Yeah, like the more you are stressed about this, the more you are usually causing and manifesting them issues that you are afraid of. So it's good to be careful with what you are imagining and wishing for and afraid of, because those very easily come in the body.
Yeah, I don't remember the psychological term, but a lot of people have this. There's like a psychological term. Maybe somebody can help me with, but what a problem a lot of people have is that they make mental things like mental pain and mental problems a physical reality. It has like a psychological term as well, but like if you're
like a self-fulfilling prophecy,
something similar. But like if you feel stress in the head, you do things that cause stress in the body. Like if you feel anxious and stressed, you start to abuse the body physically. Like you go to the gym and you hurt the body the way you're training. And if you feel like stress in the head, you go and drink too much, like whatever, alcohol and so on, just, to manifest the pain. Like that's a problem with a lot of people have is that they manifest everything that is in the head physically through their actions. Like the stress becomes real after you do the thing that makes it real through physical actions. But I think this is already a lot what we have talked about. But I think like this is free discussion, so, and we are not like super prepared. Like this is free flowing. Like we didn't even prepare for like all of this stuff. It just came through naturally. So of course, if we were prepared, we would have even like more evidence and more proof and more studies and better like articulation regarding what we want to say. But even with all this stuff, we have like a lot more things, we know and we have experienced and we have found out. And I think the reason why our training programs, especially like, are more realistic is because we as people are more realistic, because we don't like the water reflects clearly. Like it's not, the pot is not too much stirred. That's why, everything we do is more realistic, because we live in actual reality, and the natural reality is the actual reality, I think.
Yes, and like I said, like our training is based on like not stirring this, but like our actions come from that, and the whole functionality of and how well it works is based on that clarity. Like that's really where I think it comes from, and the more clarity or more clear you can be, the more closer to the reality you can be, the more better you can reflect the reality, like you said, the better everything starts to happen, because it just follows the reality. It follows things as they are, the best that they are. So yep, there was really like an update. Started with the virus and everything, and I have some recovery still to do. I need to gain my strength back that I lost a little bit, because I was just really bedridden for a lot of time. But now we're getting back to it. We're going to bring forth a lot of videos, a lot of interesting content, and we're going to keep training, guys. So see you, take care, and stay strong.